Pretty much every Saturday night, there's a brand new update from the official Dragon Ball Super website, a brand new interview, a look behind the scenes of what's coming up in the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. And we have a lot of stuff to get through here with this newest update of the official website. There is an interview, a double interview with the art directors for Dragon Ball Super Broly, Nobuhito Sue and Kazuo Ogura. And there's a lot of very interesting information that was revealed here, not just about the art and the way that the creative process behind the film is going, which to me is very interesting and very different from the previous projects that have been theatrical motion pictures for Dragon Ball. But also, we have new planets and new information going on here. So credit, of course, to Herms, Jake, for translating a lot of this stuff. He's got a whole plethora of notes here from this interview. But again, I want to clarify before we get into the meat and potatoes of this whole thing. These are the art directors for the film. You know, they work hand in hand with the lead animators, specifically to kind of make sure everything fits together. The backgrounds with the actual movement, the fighting, along with making sure that the designs and everything looks nice and, you know, crisp. This movie, Dragon Ball Super Broly, is going to be something else. I mean, even if the movie plot isn't great, and I've said this before, it's going to be a visual spectacle. Now, let's go ahead and like I said, the majority of this interview, well, a big chunk of it, is a lot of it has to do with kind of their creative process in working with not only Toriyama but also Nagamine, who did recently get announced as being part of a panel for New York Comic Con with Nozawa and Sean Schemmel. So very happy to hear that one. Now I want to get to the interesting stuff here real quick. Let me scroll down. So here we have an actual look at that is a new planet never before seen in Dragon Ball. Debuting here in Dragon Ball Super Broly. And I knew it. I mean, I was telling a lot of people that the movie, because they're saying it's going to be a space opera, right? They keep saying that. Here is a look at the new planet coming up in the film, which we have not seen in any of the trailers yet. This is called Planet Vampa. Toriyama apparently drew the image board of, like, he drew the original board for this. Now, I'm presuming this is Planet Vampa. I'm actually not 100% sure on that. It might not be, but based on the fact that it's in the video, or it's in the interview, it would make sense. Basically, what we know about this planet is Vampa is supposed to be sort of like a, I guess you can say, a pun on vampire. So I'm very curious if there's going to be some kind of new alien species, or if one of the characters we've already seen, or maybe that monster we talked about last week, maybe he'll be in this part of the movie. I'm really not sure, but the entire idea behind the design of this new planet, Planet Vampa or whatever, is that they wanted to look radically different from Planet Vegeta. Now we actually have a look. We actually have a look of Planet Vegeta here. Let me show you all real quick. And we've seen a look before of Planet Vegeta, but not quite this crisp. Alright, take a look right there. Now, notice it looks a lot more like a Frieza planet. Now, unless this is a Frieza planet and we're being fooled here, this does appear to be Planet Vegeta. And the things that they've talked about is that pretty much in the interview, they talk about how Shueisha and Toriyama gave them just general guidelines. You know, every planet should have its own motif. For example, Planet Vegeta is a lot of squares and circles, you know, which is, you know, the kind of that spacey look. This is very similar to what George Lucas did with Star Wars. Again, this goes back to that space opera thing where, you know, every planet had its own, like, color. Like, you have planet, you know, in Star Wars, you know, you have Endor, which is like a greenish, brownish kind of forest world. You have Tatooine, like that golden brown with the sand, you know, and things like that, you know, little motifs. And you know, have you noticed that the Empire is all black and white? The Rebels are all, you know, in color. You know, there's a lot of little things here and there. But they talk about how much freedom they had on the project. They talk about how, and it's interesting because previous Dragon Ball movies have not been like this, especially Resurrection F. That movie was very tightly done by Yamamuro, very tight. Here, every person that's been interviewed has talked about how much freedom Toei and Toriyama has given them. And the whole thing they're talking about here is that they were shocked that they got that much freedom, you know, and it's supposed to all look different. Now, it's interesting because according to what Herms translates here, he says that while the film features old Dragon Ball standbys like West City, we've seen that in the trailer, there are also lots of new planets with locations like Antarctic Mountain, which is, we've seen that in the trailer. They aim for a more natural detail and texture than seen in the original manga. So they're trying to make it look a lot more colorful there. And that's interesting. More, it says planets, plural. That's interesting. Director Nagamine told them from the rough draft stage to go all out. So they proposed some rather out there designs that still retain the flavor of the previous ones from the series. Once Toriyama and Shueisha gave the okay, they went ahead with the design. So again, Toriyama is working hand in hand with a lot of these guys with this movie. He usually is not this hands-on. He's more hands-on with this, I feel, than even Resurrection F. Because with Resurrection F, he just turned the script and the designs. Here he's actually involved in the art direction. So the dude is definitely involved like crazy in this film, but again, he's giving people freedom to do what they want, so you're going to get a lot of different creative minds involved in the project, which actually makes me very excited because Toriyama is, you know, he's been doing this a long time. You got to get some fresh blood in there to give Dragon Ball kind of a newer outtake, which I talked about earlier in the video I did about Dragon Ball being too commercial. Talked about that earlier today. So they talk about, they're very particular when it comes to color. Dragon Ball has a unique, bright color palette rather than a realistic one. And it's important to give different planets different color palettes. You know, we talked about that, the motifs, and we discussed that a minute ago. And then it says here that before the script was finalized, they received a document outlining the sorts of places that would appear in the movie with accompanying reference materials from the original manga, TV, anime, movies, etc. And sometimes even material from other series, like other anime. Like, that's interesting to me. They produced 40 art boards for the film, which are kind of like, they're kind of like storyboards, but they're just bigger pieces of art. You know, if you've ever seen behind the scenes on any of these like science fiction movies, you'll see tons of this stuff. The art board for Planet Vegeta was the largest, took about 3 days to complete, even though they were working on other boards at the same time. So the whole thing is that, yeah, they're trying to make, we're going to see new parts of Planet Vegeta, but we're also going to make it still look familiar. But it's going to be a grander scale, is what they're saying in the interview. They wanted to still be faithful, though, to the original sort of space base and spaceship that that Toriyama had designed. I mean, there's a good look at it right there. I mean, it looks like stuff that we've already seen. This new planet, though, looks pretty cool. It kind of looks like the Barbarian world when Zamasu and Goasu went to the future. It kind of reminds me of that, right? So the only thing left to really talk about here as far as like information that Herms had translated, which I think he finds interesting, it was, you know, they talk about the freedom they had and they were given guidelines for the motifs and whatnot. And then director Nagamine wanted to increase the art sense of scale as it befits a space opera, which again is what I talked about earlier. Like I kind of know where they're going with this, you know. Again, Sue was personally interested in Bulma's vacation house, which is a new Earth location. So we're gonna get a new Earth location, Bulma's vacation house. So I wonder if 17 will appear. Probably not, but I wonder. He saved it for last so he could take his time with it. And then it says here, this is again from Herms that I found interesting, director Nagamine supplied his own vacation photos from his trip to the Italian town of Amalfi as reference material for Bulma's vacation home. It's a round capsule corporation style building, mainly with a hint of color, located in Inlet Bay. So we have not seen that here yet in any of this. We're going to see it in the film. They always have to give Bulma something new. And pretty much the whole ending here is that these guys are hoping that the movie will have a pleasantly different feel from previous TV shows and movies with a sense of reality to the world. They even want to make Toriyama go wow. So just looking at this and the whole information we have about the vampire planet and the new planet Vegeta, like how they're going to make it look and show these new locations and show these new characters and, you know, kind of really go in depth on the backstory of Dragon Ball and the Saiyans, I, for one, am pretty interested in what they're going to do. That's pretty much all I have for you here on this video. Leave a comment in the comment section if you have any ideas or any theories on the vampire planet. Excuse me, let me put it up on the screen again real quick. Right there. Because I'm wondering if it's just a pun or if they actually are like, you know, like blood-sucking cannibals that live on that planet. You know, I'm genuinely wondering if, like, there's going to be a threat. Because remember, guys, we've only seen, like, 60 seconds of this movie, and a little bit of designs. There's still a lot of stuff we have not seen about this movie. Do not think that you already have this movie figured out, because this new planet right here, I mean, I knew they were going to do it, but now they're actually showing it. So who knows how many more new planets they have. So figuring out the plot now is going to be impossible, but we do know a lot of things they're going to be doing. So let me know what you think. What do you think about the vampire planet? Are you excited to see the planet Vegeta? Like, obviously this is going to be in the flashbacks, the backstory of Broly, Goku, and Vegeta, which we know we're going to get in the movie. Let me know if you think, you know, if you're interested in that, and if you're interested in seeing more Planet Vegeta, because I am, and this kind of bluish Planet Vegeta looks a lot prettier than like the reddish that we've seen like in the Bardock special. And I love the Bardock special, but I feel like this blue Planet Vegeta is, you know, more lighter tone, like more like Earth. It seems more relatable for us as human beings. So anyways, that's it. Hope y'all have a great day. I'll talk to y'all very soon. Oh, and if you celebrate Labor Day, happy Labor Day. If not, that's okay too. See you soon.